Hey everyone, Central Hockey News Report. So back on the video, and today we're talking about can the Wild, do better than a 3-0 start of the season. Yes, it's been tough for them so far. They've been trying. They have. I don't want to overreact. This isn't a video of overreacting to the Wild being 3-0 of the season. Um, it's definitely a better team than a 3-0, right? We've seen that last year. This team is a great team. But why could this be happening? And could it continue to be like this all season? Can it just be a long season? Or can this change fairly quickly? We'll forget about this 0-3-0 start of the season for the Minnesota Wild. Now looking at the games Minnesota did play, those 3 games. Just looking at those games. First off, we start off the first game, 7-3 Rangers over the Wild. That's a blowout right there for them. And then it's 7-6 Kings over the Wild. That's another tough loss there. And then last night, 6-3 Colorado over the Wild. I watched that. They tried to get back into that game. They have tried. That was a tough one. They tried and tried. Just could not. First off, they're letting too many goals in, right? They are letting too many goals in. Fleury is older. He's not the Fleury we know that he was in Vegas and Pittsburgh and all that, right? But last year with the Wild at the deadline, he played pretty solid, right? You gotta say he played solid. But it's a new season. We'll see how Fleury does. And Gustafsson obviously is a new addition here from Ottawa, the 25-year-old. But, Gustafsson played okay, 6 goals last night. That was a tough Colorado team to play against, you know what I mean? So, Gustafsson, he's not too bad, but they got to keep pucks out of the back of the net. They got to score, but also defend like they did last year. So far, they have not been able to do that. One of the key departures from last year, obviously we know, is Kevin Fiala. Kevin Fiala is now with the Kings. They traded him to the Kings for a first-round pick, and Brock Faber, who is obviously a college defenseman from the College of Minnesota. So there you go. But knowing there was no room for Fiala to sign him. He was an RFA, he wanted money, and guess what? We knew that the Wild wouldn't be able to pay for him. And Kevin Fiala obviously was a goal scorer for them. He got them points too. He did. Kevin Fiala's now to a $7.8 million contract, which they were obviously not going to be able to afford. Fiala has 5 points already this season, a goal and 4 assists in 4 games, 85 points last year with the Wild losing that. But you do have Kaprizov, you have Zuccarello, who actually played incredible last year, absolutely amazing, his career best last year. I don't know how many people realize that was his career best last year. Eriksson Ek being one of your best centers there, shut down center. Foligno being a good leader, energized or energy guy there. Joe's good, middle 6 guy there. Hartman had a breakout season last year, really good. We'll see if we can duplicate it. Goodrow's good, middle 6, bottom. Boldy had a really solid time there with the Wild last year. They need Rossi, they need Boldy to just play really solid. They need that. Filling in the gaps here. Sam Steele, obviously the Ducks couldn't get him to be the guy they wanted. So, they didn't qualify him, and that's why the Wild signed him to a cheap deal. You have Dubel, you have Duhaime, and Shaw. Obviously, Kaprizov is your guy, your best player right there for sure. But they just... Something about, losing Fiala, losing 85 points does sting. It does. Losing 85 points does sting. But you hope Boldy can start to fill that gaps and all of that. Obviously, you look at the Wild here. What they got, they got Olgren. They have drafted this last draft, I should say. They have defense in Lampos, O'Rourke, Johansson, Hickett's, who's actually 26 Hickett's actually is, and they have goaltending in Walsdat and Jones. So, you have defense, you got some offense here, but it's gonna be a tough season for them this year. 6.3 of dead cap, just sitting there, not being able to use, and not trying to fill out the roster is not possible. And of course, next year the dead cap is going to rise for them, bringing them to 7.3 million for another 2 years after that. So 6.3 this year, and then the next 2 years after, it will be 7.3 million of absolutely dead cap, not being able to use on a player. And that could obviously be easy Fiala signing right there. They would have wanted to keep him, but they couldn't. So you hope a Boldy can really get moving. Rossi, be that guy. I know it's only been 3 games. Things can definitely add up here for them. Looking at defense, you have Spurgeon, Brody, Dumpa, Middleton, Goligoski, Addison, and Suda. Addison's already at -5 of the season, but he's a young defenseman. You hope that he can play the season with them, learn. It's enough for him to be in the AHL now. It's time for him just to be in the NHL. Middleton's shut down. Dumpa, he's a free agent this coming season. So, can they sign him? That's the thing. Do they keep him? Do they trade him eventually? This season at the deadline could be a possibility. Obviously, Brodeen, Spurgeon are long-term additions here. Middleton's a solid, shutdown guy. Sudo's a 7th defenseman. So, we hope the Minnesota Wild, do better than this. And I think they can. It's just a tough start. They know they're a better team. They know that. They tried. It's not easy. The position they're in, Gary Bettman said, the commissioner of the NHL said, if Esco's paid off by the end of the season, which is looking like it, $4 million in rising for the cap. So having $4 million extra dollars, part of this for the Wild would definitely help the Wild. If Esco doesn't finish up by the end of the season or paid off, it'll only be $1 million. The cap goes up by. But if it does, if they pay it all off, $4 million. And I'm sure the Wild are hoping for that. $4 million is a big gap for them. They need that $4 million for sure. Looking at their team here, UFA, we have RFA, Jost is a RFA, Freddie Gaudreau is a UFA, Boldy's a RFA, he's going to want something, Steele's a RFA, Duhaime's a RFA, Mason Shaw's a RFA, obviously Dumpa's a UFA like we talked about, Suster is a UFA, obviously not much to talk about there, and Phil Gustafson, the goalie, is a RFA. So there you go. There you go. That's what it is. So they're definitely a great team. They definitely are. They just gotta keep going. We'll see how Zuccarello does. I don't know if he had the same season like he did last year. Probably less. We'll see how Hartman does. But 3 games. They're going into Vancouver. I believe they're going to be at Vancouver, if I'm not mistaken. No, they're going to be home. Vancouver, then Boston, at Montreal, at Ottawa, at Detroit, and then at Chicago. That is the road trip there. There you go. Boston, Vancouver could be beatable for them. It should be beatable for them. Boston should be beatable for them. Montreal should be beatable. Ottawa maybe be beatable, should be probably, a lot of these should be. Detroit, that's going to be a tougher one now. Chicago should be a beatable one. So we'll see how the record is by the end of the month. They're on a road trip, 4-game road trip, of course, Montreal, Ottawa, Detroit, or Boston, Montreal, Ottawa, Detroit, and then Chicago. So we'll see how that goes. See if they can turn this around, for sure. So thanks for watching, and Chalk News Reports, and I'll see you next video. Bye.